back to Blues Fans TV. I am Sophie Rose and we're going to talk a lot of transfers today, especially in the defensive part of the field. This is a story that's been developing for quite a while now. There's been lots of rumours circulating it. I think probably we always had to wait till the end of the season to see any final sort of transfer news go through, and by that I mean not just random rumours that were put out there during lockdown. That I think a lot of that was just to sort of get views, to fill time, not from us, but I mean from sort of local media outlets and news outlets, and that's why I was very reluctant to report on it, because I really wasn't sure how much truth there was to these stories. But I would like to say that we are finally, well, close to signing Ben Chilwell. A lot of mixed reviews about this one. I'm going to go through it. You know, there's a lot of positives here, a lot of negatives as well, I think, and that always comes with signing a young English player. I think for us it's a good signing. Is it the best left back in the world? No. We're going to have to talk about the price tag here as well, because there's lots of ifs and buts about that, but let's start with the positives. You know, he's 23 years old. He's a young English player. We're always looking to sign as many English players as we can, especially in the Premier League. You know, you want your English youth to develop very well, as you would if you were in the Liga. You would want your Spanish born and bred players to do well there. It's always nice when you have some homegrown players in the mix, and I think the Premier League's lost that over the last few years. But with the likes of Frank Lampard in charge, I feel like he's opened a lot of doors for those players to come in. I wouldn't have thought we would have seen the likes of Ben Chilwell even be a target for Chelsea if we had maybe Mourinho in charge, or Antonio Conte, Carlo Ancelotti. I think Frank has a very good way of bringing out the best in youth players. He's not been afraid to use them this season, albeit he's had to, due to our lack of options and transfer deficit. Is that the right word to say? We didn't really sign anyone. But I think a lot of this is the fact that we have a lot of trust in Frank to be able to get the best out of these young players. One thing I do want to say about Ben, not only is he only 23 years old, he has Premier League experience, which Leicester are a fantastic team. Ever since they won the league, they've not been able to get back up to that level, but that's always going to be hard with the likes of Liverpool and City in the mix. But yeah, I think Leicester are a fantastic team. I think that he's done very well for them. Is he the best left back I've ever seen in the world? No. I think he's very good going forward. I would like it if he was slightly more disciplined at the back, I suppose you could say. But is he an improvement from Alonso and Emerson? Absolutely. Alonso I don't want to be too harsh on, because a lot of fans don't appreciate all the good that he does do for Chelsea FC. He's a very good wing back. I think had we still had the likes of JT as a fullback, even Gary Cahill got a lot of stick, but we've struggled since a lot of these players have left. I think he probably would have done a lot better, but this season's been challenging for all sorts of reasons. I don't think Alonso is if we're going to play in a back four, at least not with wing backs, I don't think he is a viable option. I think Emerson, although he had a couple of games, really hasn't done. I suppose he hasn't been that impressive. Even when he came to Chelsea, it was a bit of a shock. I think none of us really saw that one coming. We've made a lot of signings over the years that seem to just be better deals through agents, rather than actually what's a really good fit for Chelsea Football Club. So I'm happy for Ben to come, as long as Frank Lampard is the one in charge. Yeah, you want to get them in. You want to get them in early, I suppose. I think what Frank is trying to do is he's trying to build a team. And Chelsea don't want to sign players, particularly over the age of 30. We're very reluctant to sign players that are even sort of late 20s, I think, unless they're really, really that good. We've always wanted to try and sign young players. Look at Pulisic, he's very young, isn't he? What is he, 20 years old? 20 odd, something around that line. It's all about building a team and making sure we can get a bit of longevity out of these players. The only problem with Chilwell here, I think, is going to be his price tag. Leicester are overpricing him, in my opinion, completely overpricing him. And I think that's because they know they can, because Leicester over the years have developed their squad so well that their players have become very valuable to clubs that are obviously struggling in certain areas. 80 million is an incredible amount of money. We do have the money to spend, but I don't want us to get stupid and just sort of waste the money. And we really want to be making solid signings that are going to last. And I think if you look at the last time we forked out on a player for 70 million, i.e. Kepa, that's not paid off, and I would really hate for us to make the same mistake again. But I do think there's some differences here. Ben has Premier League experience. He's proved himself. He's been able to maintain a first team place for a few seasons, and I think he would be a better option than Alonso and Emerson. And for me, although it is a big price tag, I don't want us to get to the end of the transfer window and have not made any signings because we've been not willing to fork out the money. I think we've done that in the last few seasons, maybe. I mean, even the year we signed Kante, he really was our only signing, albeit the only one we sort of needed. But I think he would be a better option than Alonso and Emerson. And for me, although it is a big price tag, I don't want us to get to the end of the transfer window and have not made any signings because we've been not willing to fork out the money. I think we've done that in the last few seasons, maybe. I mean, even the year we signed Kante, he really was our only signing, albeit the only one we sort of needed. But we have lost out to a lot of players because we've not been quick enough. And I think although now Willian has made the transfer to North London, oh my God, but I thought we all saw that coming. You know, at least he didn't go to Tottenham. It could have been way worse. You know, he still doesn't want to go there. We steered him away once, he's been steered away again, so that's, you know, 1+ there. But I do think, you know, when you have to be careful when you send your players to rival clubs. Yes, I think we got the most we could out of Willian. I think it was the right time for him to leave. David Luiz again, I don't think he's done as well. I don't think Willian will do as well for Arsenal as what they think he will, but I do think he's a very good signing for them. I think he's one of the best signings that Arsenal have made in terms of already established Premier League players. Willian holds a lot of experience. He's great at free kicks. You know, he's had some very fine. He's not been the most consistent player, but he's had some very, very good games for Chelsea, and that's not to go unnoticed for next season because he will be major competition for us. Anyway, back to the defensive area. Apparently, we're also linked with John Stones. They say he's fallen out of favour with Pep Guardiola. I don't see this one progressing. I think we should have gone for him years ago. I'll keep you updated with it for sure, but I would be very surprised if we were able to manage to get that deal to go through. But yeah, let me know if you think John Stones would be a good option. That news sort of only come out today, so I don't want to bore you with too many statistics and whatsoever else until we have more sort of solid news on that. But yeah, he's a good defender. I would love it if he could come. Plays for one of the best teams in the world. What more could you want? But I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. If it does, I stand corrected. You know, we're linked with a lot of players. We're linked with another one called Lewis Dunk. I really didn't know much about him. Plays for Brighton, but then again, we're going to keep you updated with that. I think Lauren and Lewis are going to do some videos on that as well. But for today I wanted to talk about Ben, the pros, the cons. Like I said, we have age in our favour. He has a experience. If he was to come to Chelsea, he'd have an experience, and he'd have an English manager. You know, I think also that the main thing with Frank is that he gets the best out of players, and he can relate to them a lot more. He was a young English player himself. He knows how they work. I think especially in this day and age, I think the reason why Mourinho has such a hard time is because players just have too big egos these days and don't really want to listen to him. I think your approach is everything. I think it's not your message, it's your delivery, and I think Frank actually does a really good job out of that. And I think if you look at our season, to reach an FA Cup final, to get top 4 with all the odds against us, I think Frank and Jody have done such an amazing job. But next season, we need to win a trophy. We need to be up there contending with everybody else. We need to show that we are just as worthy of being champions as Liverpool, as Man City. And yeah, it's going to be hard. I think the Premier League gets harder every year, but I think if we do sort out our back line, to which most of our defenders at the moment, like Sir Christensen, Zuma, Emerson, Alonso, I think they're all getting a bit pretty worried, because that's sort of where all our transfer news is at the moment, which obviously means that Frank has not been impressed, as have we not. Very, very disappointing, especially since, you know, post-lockdown, how badly we defended in games. There's only one highlight I could say about Zuma in the back line, I would say, is when Zuma came in for that behind tackle. But other than that, there's not really anything that I would say stands out to me as, you know, top 4 level. I think we really slid off. But anyway, I'm rambling now. But yeah, let me know what you think of this Ben Chilwell. He's set to complete a medical apparently today. Again, not sure how much truth there is to that, but if that is to go through, at least we've made one signing and we do have a new left back, which is fantastic in my opinion, albeit the very overpriced Leicester wanting to get to milk us for money. But yeah, it's a signing, it's an improvement in my opinion. Comment below, let me know what you think about Ben Chilwell. Like I said, there's a lot of positives that I think outweigh the negatives in this situation. But yeah, comment below, let me know your thoughts, and Lewis and Lauren's will be back with more transfer news for you this week. Go on, news.